Guys, I'm super glad everybody's here for our planning. So I hope you can see this okay. Like it's just our agenda for the day.
Remember when we did this in person last year? Oh,
You guys know that there's a global pandemic right now?
Hey, I think you guys, we should probably start with like a feeling word to like build some teamwork up.
Okay, but just a second. So like I want to start with mission.
our last meeting was in Colorado. That was the best. Like, so great.
Mission. I can't even forecast tomorrow. How can we plan for next year?
Hey, do you guys want to do some trust falls? Maybe that'd be fun.
So all right, so maybe that one's too hard. We can start with the core values then.
My gosh, next year, let's totally go to Hawaii. That'll be amazing.
Any planning right now is just going to be like totally irrelevant anyway, so why don't we just skip it?
Hey, you guys, I'm gonna go get some snacks real quick.
Well, it is strategic planning season.
Yes, it is.
The favorite season of all C-level people.
Leaders, managers get hauled into a space together
Absolutely, where we get to go on some fancy offsite and
for a day or two or
plan
three.
things and have fancy meals, and it's really great.
Yeah,
Except this year.
except this
when
year.
we don't.
None of it.
So I did strategic planning with my teams over the past couple weeks.
Yeah.
And it was really hard.
Yeah, it is hard right now.
First off, like, we didn't even know what we were planning for, right? Like,
Yeah,
we're
what's
like,
going to happen? Who knows?
like, we're in the middle of the pandemic and we're like, what's 21 like?
Who knows? Who's going to be the president? We don't know.
No one knows. So unlike many years in the past, I mean, it's always like a little bit of a magic 8-ball situation.
Yeah, sure it is.
But
Swagging
this
is
year
usually
felt
easier.
so hard, so much harder than previous years because we really don't know. So
Yeah.
that exercise proved to be pretty difficult for my team.
Yeah, yeah. And I would just like to add, like, normally a lot of organizations are doing like a 3-year plan and a 1-year plan. Like, that's kind of the standard way a lot of people do strategic planning. And I would just say, to get out ahead of this year, I would encourage people to even just do a 1-year plan and let that be okay. You're
Yep.
not failing by doing something a little different this year than you have in the past.
Yep. I mean, we tried to put out those, those milestones a few
Yeah.
years out there.
Yeah,
But again, we've got to be more agile than
Flexible.
we were in the past.
for
you know?
sure, for
So-
sure. I think the other thing that's really lacking in the strategic planning time period is that's typically the time of year where everyone in the company or every part of the leadership team knows there will be a recalibration.
Yep.
Like, we'll do strategic planning and we know that's the time of year where we're all going to come back together.
Yep.
So even if we've started to fracture a little bit, even if we're not all on the same page, we can usually count on coming back together at this time.
Yep, we come together, we break some bread,
Yeah.
we maybe
Yeah.
do some activities,
Yeah.
we get reacquainted, we get realigned, and it's a really helpful
Important.
for team building.
Very
right?
much so.
And that strategy session every year, I feel like really keeps the team together throughout the whole year.
Yeah.
Without that,
Yep.
it is a lot harder.
Yeah, and if your team is feeling a little wonky right now and you can sense that certain people on the leadership team are trying to solve on their own or the team doesn't feel good, it's very likely that you're just dealing with some of these pieces that we're talking about here. And it's okay actually to bring that up and talk about how things are usually this way. This year it's different. How can we build trust? How can we come back together as a team knowing that it is so different?
And then the last thing is just like the energy of the strategy sessions, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times we're just used to being together and there's like stuff all over the walls and
Right.
sticky notes and whiteboards full of, elaborate plans. And
Colored markers.
and that creation, that time of brainstorming and creation is different now.
It sure is. Yeah, it sure is. And I think that the energy for strategic planning is very creative, or at least we want it to be. So we're creating something that isn't there right now. And I think that energy feels really different than the energy of just doing our regular project work or like checking tactically the stuff off our bucket list that we're supposed to. And so when we don't have that connection, when we're not all together, there does feel like we can't create in the same way. way. So we have to just be aware of that and find different ways that we can make those connections, whether it be through Zoom or maybe even we do like a team building outdoor walk or something like that. I mean, it actually, there's a lot of people that are doing unique things like that, even with the weather not being great.
Yep, and then I would also say if you're going to do strategic planning remotely, making sure you're still time blocking off that time, even if you're in your home office. And really that morning or before that meeting, setting your intention.
Yes,
right?
exactly right.
I'm
Keeping
going
your
into
energy
this.
clear.
We're going to be
advice.
creative, big picture. We're not getting stuck in the weeds. This is strategic planning. Being really intentional about your energy before you start that meeting.
Absolutely. And I like what you said about time blocking, and I would +1 that. Keep them even a little shorter than normal. So if you usually go 8 hours, do 4 or 6. Break them into groups so people have a chance to just refresh a little bit.
Great tip.